All right, so today I'm starting a new project. This is a board that I bought online, and I have no exact idea what this is. I have a general idea what it might be, but not 100% sure. The thing is, it's old. It doesn't have a processor on it. You'll see there's no processor chip on this. So it's going to be something like a Pong or a Breakout, or some other paddle and ball game. Based on the three switches that are installed on this board, I'm assuming it's a Breakout variant. So I grabbed the schematics for Breakout and looked at it, and many of the chips map to Atari Breakout, so this is going to be a clone of Breakout, pretty sure. The only markings on it are VLIBAW. VLI may mean Venture Line Industries, and BAW may be Breakaway, or it may be black and white. It's going to be a black and white game, but I think it's Breakaway. So based on that, I'm going to assume it's a Breakout variant called Breakaway by Venture Line. Again, not 100% sure. Don't know what parts are missing. Don't know if these are supposed to be populated. I don't think so. It doesn't look like they're ever soldered. These holes here don't look like they've ever been soldered, so I think those are supposed to be vacated. I'm not sure if a chip goes there or not. I think one does. I'll figure that one out eventually. Basically, first step is to figure out the pinout. I did some Google searches online trying to find information on Venture Line Breakaway, and the pictures of the board don't always match this. In fact, the database, the video game database site shows a different board for Breakaway. So based on that, this is not Breakaway, but I don't know. I think that picture is just wrong. I couldn't find a pinout for it, but I did confirm with the schematics on the Atari Breakout schematics. This connector does not match. So this video is going to be about building a harness, figuring out how do you figure out the pinout of a board that you don't know what it is, and then we'll plug this in and figure out what it is. Okay, so the first step for building a connector for something that you don't know is you need to figure out which is power and ground. That's the first step. So trace along these different things. Like that's probably a ground. That looks like a ground, and something over here, that's probably a ground. That right there is probably 5 volts, but you have to ohm it out. You have to see which one of these goes to the TTL pin for voltage. Usually it's pin 14 or pin 16, depending on package size, and then ground is always a diagonal from that one, so it's either 7 or 8. So once you figure out those two, you'll power it up, and then you'll put a scope to each of these pins and try to figure out if you can figure out which one the video signal is. Now this is a black and white, so it's going to be a composite video. It's going to be bouncing around and stuff, but it won't be full level logic. It'll be like 2.5 volts, and it'll be a noisy looking thing. So that's where we're at. I'm also going to have to figure out where a sink is that I can sync to. Although the composite sink will have the sink coming out, I can tie those together. It just, the picture won't be as good if I do that. So maybe I'll just do that for this, because I'm probably never going to own another one of these. The harness is just for test purposes, right? You're not going to play a game that way. Anyway, I have to have a sync, obviously, for my RGB monitor. It needs a separate sync signal for best performance. So anyway, that's where we're at. I'm going to start figuring out which one of these is power and ground. I'm going to take, this is a 44 pin. This is not a 22 pin. This is 44 pin. In other words, the pins on this side are different from the bottom side. I'm going to wire this up for power and ground. Then I'm going to put a scope to it and figure out where the video signal is. So after I get the power and ground hooked up, I'll come back. Okay, so I got 5 volts in ground connected to the board, and got my voltmeter connected there, and we have exactly 5.04 volts, close enough to 5 exactly. So now that we've got power to the board, we're looking for anything that's getting hot, smoking, about to catch on fire, that type of stuff. Not seeing anything, but kind of touch around, see if you can find something burning up. If there's any tantalum capacitors, focus on those. They like to short. Of course, I wouldn't have 5 volts if there was a shorted tantalum. It would be shorted out, and that tantalum would be getting hot as a firecracker. And of course, cut it out and replace it if you have if it's something that needs to be replaced, or just cut out and don't replace it if it's just a bypass capacitor. But yeah, I'm not feeling anything hot anywhere, so we are ready for the next step, and that's to get the scope turned on and start probing these pins to see which one looks like a video output. Now this chip here, according to the Atari schematics, this should be a 4016. So an analog switch type thing needs to be installed there, 4016. Let me see if I can dig one of those and install it, and then I'll, because that may be actually directly in line with the video output. Not sure, don't have the schematics. But I'll install that and I'll start looking for the audio, or I'm sorry, the video signal. Okay, found the video signal. So I probed all the pins, edge connector pins on the front side of the board. When I flipped it over to the back side, the very first one that I probed was this one. And that's the video signal. That's what it's going to look like. So it's a combination of video data and sync. So let me see if I can get the trigger level to cooperate a little bit better. Let's see what that looks like. Doing it blind here because I've got one hand. Yeah, anyway, that's the video signal. So now I will hook up the video signal and we'll see if we get a picture. Okay, so I was studying the schematics here for the Atari breakout, and here's the video output. And the sync is coming in and it's being mixed in through a diode here. Well, I searched around on the board and I found that structure right here. This diode that I'm connecting to for the sync is right there. So I've got the video and the sync hooked up, and we do have a picture. This is definitely a breakout clone. The schematics is pretty much identical to the board, except for the locations are marked differently. It looks like on Atari, this axis was A through whatever, and this axis going across, let's see if I can find the letters, going across here was 1 through whatever. So once you figure that out, then you can kind of find out which chip is which. I believe the boards are very, very similar in layout and floor plan. So I installed the 4016 there, which I didn't have one. I had a 4066, which is a better chip for this anyway. So I installed the 4066 switch there, and we've got video. I mean, we've got the game playing. Now, this is just, this is just power up and video. That's all I've done. I don't have the control set up. I'm going to assume that the potentiometers that Atari used and Venture Lion Industries, or whoever made this board, that basically used the exact same stuff. So I think it's going to be a 5K ohm, so I need to dig that up for the paddles. I probably have an old Atari 2600 paddle that I can use that will work. I think those are actually 20K or something, but it'll work. It'll be harder to control because the motion between 0 and 5K will be less, if that's what it is indeed. I'm not sure. I'll have to look that up in the schematics. But yeah, so that's basically this video. I just wanted to show, if you don't have the pinout for something, first get the power established, then use the scope, find where the video signal is. It'll be obvious, as I showed you. Hook it up, and this sync didn't actually have to be separated. I did it because I thought it'd make the video cleaner, but if you move the sync onto the video signal itself, which is just the other side of that diode, looks the same pretty much. I don't see much difference. In other boards, when I've done this, I have seen much crisper video when you separate out the sync, but not here. Maybe this isn't the best sync. Maybe there's a like this is horizontal and vertical sync combined. Maybe if I found a place where the sync was more defined for vertical only, then maybe it would make a difference. But I mean, the picture's stable, so the sync, yeah, forget what I just said. That makes no sense. The sync is solid. I've got a good solid picture, albeit there are some problems, like this is wrong, and so there's some logic problems that need to be fixed. But yeah, that's going to be the best I get on a color monitor. Black and white monitor, of course, it'd look better. Also, I will check the video, the chips associated with the video, and see if one of them is weak. And if it is, that may also improve the signal, the video signal, make the image have more contrast. That's the biggest problem with this, is there's not much contrast. It's washed out. But that will be just as I'm probing through this to try to find, you know, chips to replace. Let's see. I guess that's about it. Oh, next steps will be for the pinout, the controls, and also to find the audio. Also coining up. I guess the next thing to do will be to find the coin circuits and get it to where you can reset the game. When you insert a coin, it would reset it and clear the scores and reset the blocks. That'll probably be the next thing. Then once that's done and you can start the game, I'll need to hook up the start button. Then the ball will start moving, and that should generate sound. I'll put a scope on that and look and see which pin corresponds to the ball hitting the wall or the brick, and that will be the audio. And it's going to be unamplified. This spot here on the Atari Breakout is a LM380, which is not installed here. So this board requires an external amplifier. It may be powerful enough to drive it directly on the speaker, but it'll be very, very quiet. But that's good enough. I don't have to have it amplified. I just want to make sure the sound is there and is working. Okay, well, I think that's it for this video. I will continue on it, and I guess when I get this completely done, I'll make another video.